Well, it looks like Disney, after paying billions to buy the Star Wars franchise and not making a single cent from it in 10 years, has decided to make their first decent decision and can the Rey movie because everyone hates Rey and modern Disney Star Wars. Good. That's a step in the right direction.
Trouble in Paradise, dear. Star Wars The New Jedi Order now on hold at Lucasfilm. Rey movie is not happening. 5 new Star Wars movies announced, including Daisy Ridley's return as Rey. That's 4 weeks ago, but you can see how things kind of change. Star Wars The New Jedi Order now on hold at Lucasfilm. It's like instead of now available, it's exactly what you don't want to hear. Now on hold, possibly not happening anymore.
Somehow.
Well, I will argue that that is exactly what most people want to hear. Listen, Star Wars has gone down the shitter so much it's insane. I still have not seen the last Star Wars movie. You know, that Palpatine returns, and the explanation of Palpatine returning is, well, somehow he made a return. And that's genius writing, in my opinion, obviously. And then we got, what? Ahsoka with killer assassin droids announcing their presence. Then we got, what else did we got? Oh yeah, obviously the Acolyte, which was a absolute woke garbage fiesta that, listen, if there's any proof that women need mansplaining and it should be mandatory, it's probably Ahsoka. Because we got roaring campfires in space, and then we had basic space fire can melt steel rocks or make them flammable. I'm not even sure which. But in any case, it was horrible.
Rey Skywalker.
Daniel Richtman is now reporting what I've been saying all along. Who is Daniel Richtman? Let's do our due diligence.
Probably no one.
Right. A Twitter influencer, and that's fucking awesome. I don't even know who he is, but that's pretty funny. That's like when George had the T-shirt when he was shooting episode 1 about how.
Are people going to start calling themselves now Twitter influencers? God, I hope not.
He was shooting episode 2, and he had a T-shirt that quoted some shit about episode 1 and how it was bad and all this stuff. It was like a review. Daniel Richtman is now reporting what I've been saying all along. Forget about it. The film has a plot, more work to be done, and is now on hold over at Lucasfilm. We know whenever stuff goes on hold at Lucasfilm, it just doesn't end up going well. It doesn't even end up going.
Oh, for modern day Hollywood, nothing on hold turns out well. Well, nothing even in gaming on hold, except GTA 6. That's going to be a success. I'm hailing that copium as much as possible. That's going to be great, okay? Trust me, okay? And if not, I'll just replay GTA 5. I have forgotten the story at this point, so it's a win-win situation for me. But yeah, nothing on hold in gaming works. Nothing on hold in Hollywood works. Look at how many times they reshot Agatha, and it was still a dumpster fire. Look at how many times they reshot The Rings of Power, and it's still getting actively worse episode by episode, as much as I can tell, because I ain't watching that piece of garbage. I'm just gonna listen to people talk about how it's a piece of garbage. And in gaming, look at Ubisoft. They're literally on death's bed. Why? Because they mucked up the Star Wars Outlaws thing, and now Assassin's Creed Shadows is gonna be delayed because they think that they can salvage the woke garbage pile that they have created. It never works. They just burn more money and it gets worse, which is exactly what I like to see. Hey, listen, if Disney goes completely down under, if they go completely bankrupt, tits up, and get sold for whatever they are worth in assets-wise, someone else is just gonna buy Star Wars and make a new Star Wars. That's it. These IPs don't die. Someone just buys the rights for them, and everyone can live their life to the fullest. Okay? Don't worry about Disney going under. That's a good thing.
To be honest, it just ends up kind of dying.
So uncivilized.
I mean, look at the Patty Jenkins film. It was, greenlit, then it was canceled, then now it's still happening, apparently. The Rian Johnson stuff, it's still happening. It's not really canceled, but we don't know what the heck's going on with it. They just so and then the KOTOR game, Star Wars Eclipse, like all these things, like what's going on with them.
Anyway, what is Star Wars Eclipse? I have no idea.
Anyways, forget about it. The film has a lot of more work to be done. The earliest it would be shot is 2025, and I'm pretty skeptical about that. In fact, I think the entire project will just get scrapped Yikes. What I can say is that Stephen Knight has been trying to crack the script now for well over a year. A final draft still hasn't been submitted to Lucasfilm. Knight, who is about to shoot his Peaky Blinders movie, has written a total of 4 drafts, with Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy continuously giving him notes on how to improve the story. The issues with Knight...
Oh, man. Okay, so you're the guy who made Peaky Blinders, and now Kathleen Kennedy, of all Satan creatures in the world, is gonna give you notes on how to make it better. Dude, I think we're forgetting one thing that's very important about modern Star Wars. Rey is a self-insert for Kathleen Kennedy. It has been confirmed. It's true. Rey is a literal self-insert for Kathleen Kennedy. So anything that Kathleen Kennedy says, yes, we could improve this by doing this, you probably should bleach your eyes and try to commit honorable seppuku.
Come only 2 years after development on the film started, and various drafts had circulated with different writers, including Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson, cracking at it. There's also another issue. Disney might be...
David Lindelof Watchmen? The Watchmen movie was not that loved. Now, in retrospect, as time goes by, people do appreciate it more. I personally don't really, but a lot of people do appreciate more. But, you know, if your claim is Watchmen, I don't know about that, Chief.
Second-guessing the entire nature of the project. Will they or won't they allow this film to move forwards? Do we really need another Rey movie? Chat, this could be maybe a change coming here. Plot details have been kept fairly hush-hush, but based on what I've heard, the film would focus on Rey's tutelage at an academy of upcoming Jedi. No one cares. You guys ruined it with the sequel trilogy to the point where nobody cares about these characters except for Kylo Ren, really. And
yeah, Kylo Ren was, I have to say, yeah. Finn, completely wasted because the actor's not bad. Kylo Ren was the only one even semi-likable, but, I mean, still not that great. But at least he was semi-likable, okay? I guess that's the best you can do. Rose Tico, or whatever that fat Asian one was, everyone hates her. She literally doesn't have a personality. Rey herself, let's not even talk about that disaster.
And, you know, poor Daisy Ridley, because you could have made her the coolest character by just implementing, you know, a little bit of non-Mary Sue-ness in there. And Colin Trevorrow's script, I felt, was a perfect example of what we could have gotten with a really great character. Disney Lucasfilm...
No, I completely disagree, okay? Listen, look at this. What the fuck is this? Three buns because one is not space enough? What is this? There's no saving this. There is not enough personality that you can inject into this decrepit husk to make up for the fact that someone looked at this and decided, yeah, let's give her 3 buns of autism instead of 1. There is no way. There is nothing that can save this. It's over. It's over. Pack your bags, boys.
A perfect example of what we could have gotten with a really great character. Disney Lucasfilm hired a documentary filmmaker, Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, who seems like she literally hates every man on the planet, to direct the...
With a name like Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy, yeah, I would be surprised if she even likes humanity in general.
Rey movie, and she hasn't been shy in her insistence that when she hopped on board project, her goal, and Disney's, was to have a female character shape the future of Star Wars franchise. I keep hearing Obaid-Chinoy's future.
Now, to be honest, I am kind of slightly excited about the idea that Rey Palpatine will restore the Jedi Order and make it new and better. That does sound hilarious on one part, but at the same time, I would much rather just actually get a good Star Wars movie that I want to watch.
At Lucasfilm is in doubt as well, and it should be. I think anybody who comes in there and says, hey, X gender, we're here to basically purport that whatever gender is there to shape something, shape Star Wars. Like, fuck off. A gender doesn't shape anything. That doesn't carry the character, bro. It could be a man or a woman. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is that it's a good character that people can identify with and relate to. And that's all we need. The character is just a conduit for relatable themes in life. It doesn't matter what gender they are. That going ahead, spearheading that's the first thing you think about when you get this amazing opportunity, is just a really whack way of entering something that is supposed to be inspiring and tell a great story, and you're making it about something else. You're trying to put your flag in the sand about this is fuck this story, it's about a woman now
Well, everyone wants to plant their flag in the sand, that's true.
shaping the face of Star Wars. It's the same thing if a man says that this is about a man shaping Star Wars. It's like, bro, nobody cares about that. Just tell a cool freaking story about Star Wars so we can escape for a couple hours and forget about, real world shit. Personally, I think that them putting this on hold is a really great idea because
She looks like a rooster.
think that they've been really hell-bent on just releasing shit without actually thinking about it and writing good stories and good outlines with a literal proper story that evolves over time. Like George wrote 4, 5, 6, and it was beautiful. It had Luke's story. He didn't know where he belonged. Then it had him knowing the path he wants to take, but then training and then being impatient and failing. And then in the 6th one, he was physically up to the test, in the Force and stuff, he was strong, but then he had a choice to make at the very end, which was what he saw with his hand and his father's hand, mechanical hand. And so there's like constant conflict in each one has major themes, and it's beautiful. I think that they're really just
Also, a small thing to note here, these are not even that complicated of themes. They're kind of superfluous, or whatever you pronounce that word as. They are exactly that. They're not that deep, they're not that esoteric, they're very broad and basic, and people just can relate to it. Your story doesn't need to be an entangled mess. It doesn't need to be, every movie doesn't need to be Looper, or is it called Looper, or the one that they made the time machines, and it's really complicated. Every movie does not need to be that. There's no point. Some movies can be just straightforward and good and fun. Look at the Deadpool and Wolverine. Very straightforward, and guess what? People like it. Nothing complicated about it. It just tries to be fun, interesting, and straightforward. There you go.
focusing on this pencil pusher shit where they're trying to release stuff every quarter so they can make a quota or so it looks good on sheets for their investors. And I say scrap all that. I say focus on a really well-built, well-thought-out story, something that you didn't give these characters in the sequel trilogy for whatever reason. It's your fault. And try to make it right. You know, if it's going to take a couple extra years, fine, make it take a couple extra years, but do it properly. I mean, do you really want another flop like the sequels in terms of people just hating it and being divided? People are going to go into this Rey movie already extremely apprehensive and extremely divided. Some may even just go into it to see how badly it fails so they can make fun of it. Don't let that happen. Give them something to really take away from this film and be like, you know what? That was actually kind of good. That was dope. You know, these characters sucked in the sequels, but I'm able to kind of like differentiate that. Be like, maybe there's 15 years of time passed, and these characters are actually kind of cool, and the story was good. Whatever you need to do. You guys are the ones with the hundreds of millions and the billions of dollars, so you guys figure it out.
Also, the Star Wars universe is so expansive and vast, they pretty much can create any story out of pretty much thin air. Because we don't... This is the thing. We don't need a relatable character in a setting that we know. The character can be completely brand new, and it doesn't matter what the character is. As long as you make the character itself reasonable, decent, likable, not an asshat, not too much of a clown, not too much of this, but just like a normal person, you're gonna do fine.
Regardless, it's quite clear that this won't be the next Star Wars movie over at Disney. In case you've lost count, there are now 7 Star Wars projects in... Oh, I didn't even realize. 7, dude? Okay, so we've got the Rey movie, Obaid-Chinoy. James Mangold is doing like Dawn of the Jedi. Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau have their Mando movie. Donald Glover, that's still happening. Lando, Sean Levy, and Patty Jenkins.
God, Lando is gonna be a disaster because Lando Calrissian is now completely gay.
Sean Levy and Patty Jenkins. Sean Levy, what's he doing? Patty Jenkins is doing her. Yeah. What? Those are even still happening? The only ones I know about are these 3. Dawn of the Jedi, the Rey movie, and the Mando movie. That's it. And to be honest, I don't really think anybody cares about the Lando movie. Sean Levy, I can't even remember what he's doing. Remember Taika Waititi? How he got like a movie script What happened with that guy? What happened with the David Benioff?
Is it not time that we just come together as a collective society of humans and just rid the world of Taika Waititi because he is a mistake? I think it is.
DB Wise guys, like, they just pieced out. They basically just like shat the bed with Game of Thrones so they can go work on Star Wars, and then they just vanished. I don't know, man. It just seems like there's no vision, and you gotta, you look at this stuff with Lucasfilm, and it's like, okay, yeah, so this.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Hey, Star Wars can keep failing, but as long as I get a House of the Dragon season 4, I'm down for it. Because season 1 was absolutely great. Season 2, there are some disappointing parts, and some of the White Snake makes every scene horrible, but all in all, I am still extremely easily ranking House of Dragon Season 2 with a 8 or a 9 out of 10, no problem. I absolutely love the attention to setting up the stage and then the payoff, because they do it great. I love it. I really like it. I like how all of these things work. So I have no problem with that, and I want a Season 3. And, if Star Wars fails, at least I'm going to have House of the Dragon Season 2.
Solo,
Season 3.
whatever movie, had a complete rewrite of script, and they did all this damage control and brought in Ron Howard, and he did everything over again, and they spent double the price. Okay, we look at that. That's great, but why? Why isn't it right from the get-go? Why are all these people signing on for Star Wars or being given the keys to Star Wars, and then they disappear, and then the project's not happening? And it doesn't look good.
Because they can
so
do that.
You want direct, hey, we're doing this with this person, and it gets released. We're doing this, it gets released. What are all these projects that keep disappearing? They keep vanishing. Like, they just keep bringing them to us, and then...
Well, that's called Disney being in debt for like $80 billion, and a billion more at this point is just a drop in the bucket, so who cares?
Never hear from them again. It's not even like, hey, this product didn't work out. We're just going to literally pretend like it never existed and never talk about it again. All right, well, you guys hyped it up pretty good in the first place, so why even announce it? Either they're doing it on the stage when they're announcing all the new Star Wars projects with Kathleen Kennedy and like her...
Listen, I honestly don't care about anything Star Wars except Ahsoka Season 2, and I hoped we are getting it. Now, don't get me wrong, I hated every second of it. It was terrible, but it was good for views. My god, this is so... not Ahsoka, I'm sorry, not Ahsoka, but the Acolyte. Acolyte Season 2 needs to happen, boys, okay? Sign that petition. Tell Disney that you love it. Tell them that the bigots are not right. Tell them that the evil woman-hating, misogynists are evil, and, we need to get I'm just saying we need to get a Season 2 of the Acolyte. We must have it. Plagueis's legacy must be completely shattered into a billion pieces.
The Marvel thing that they have, with all the different stories and icons, or they're doing full-on trailers to motivate people and be interested in this kind of stuff, like Patty Jenkins' thing, which I think would have been pretty cool, like a Rogue One movie. Sorry, like a X-Wing movie. At the end of the day, it's all about writing a good story, and it's not about freaking identity politics, which is what Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy wants to do by saying we have to have a female character shape the future of...
Wait, was Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy fat? Let me Google. Sharmeen Obaid-Chinoy. Oh yeah, that was... Yeah, she's fat. Oh, it all makes sense suddenly. Look at that. Where's the manager look? 10 out of 10.
Of Star Wars and the Star Wars franchise. I think that is just such... I just think that's weird. Whether a man or a woman were to shape Star Wars, let's just have good characters and good storytelling shape Star Wars.
True, but I would still prefer it to be a man, just so we can be extra safe.
I think that's what we need to worry about first. So whether it's a man or a woman or a CGI character...
Listen, I'm currently at the point where I do not trust 50% of the men in Hollywood and 100% of the women in Hollywood. Except a couple of standouts. For example, Eva Green does not disappoint in Hollywood. What's the plump one's name? I forgot. She does not disappoint. Also, Cindy, Lindsay, something. You know the one that was in the new Spider-Man woman movie. That one. There are a couple of ones that I trust in roles, and it's not gonna be trash because they started typically good movies and they're likable and they're decent human beings. But everything else is just like a flat out nah, thank you.
Or a robot, a droid. I don't care, man. And I don't think anybody does. As we've seen, take Wall-E, for example, take Toy Story, for example, take Monsters, Inc., for example. One's a droid, the others are toys, and then the others are fictitious monsters. I mean, you don't need
Dude,
humans. You don't need.
Toy Story was good. I mean, oh well, Toy Story was good, except the newer one. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was extremely crap. And Monsters Inc. was good, but Shrek obviously stands atop the lonely mountain of success and being amazing. All parts of Shrek were God's gift upon earth, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Need man or woman to make you guys a ton of money, and that's only going to be done if it's a good story, and that's only going to be done if you have someone that's focused on story and not so much on politics and agendas and bullshit like that. Let's take it back to what it was.
Good luck finding anyone like that in Hollywood, Terry. I mean, one can dream, am I right? In any case, have Star Wars Terry 10 out of 10. Bye!